Hello everybody, I hope that today you are doing well. So for this video, we will continue our discussion with the remaining parts of methodologies and principles of teaching. So I hope that during the remaining days of your preparation for your upcoming LET exam this coming March, you will take each and every opportunity to really prepare yourself for the upcoming LET exam. So let's continue our discussion with methodologies and principles of teaching. We will be discussing skills this time. First, we have manipulative skills. Ang i-remember lang, pag manipulative skills, it uses hands or fingers. Again, pag manipulative skills, isa siyang type of psychomotor skill na gumagamit ng hands and fingers, ng ating kamay at ng ating mga daliri. Manipulative skills, remember, psychomotor skill na gumagamit ng kamay at daliri. A psychomotor skill that uses our hands and fingers, that is manipulative skills or manipulative skill. For example, yung pag buo ng Rubik's Cube, no? That is manipulative skill. Yung atin ding pagsusulat, that is manipulative skill. Yung ating pag-play ng piano, that is manipulative skill. Another example, yung paggunting natin ng papel gamit yung scissors. Writing neatly with a pen and assembling a model kit. Examples din siya ng manipulative skill. Again, pag manipulative skill, a psychomotor skill that uses our hands and our fingers. Another skill is our thinking skills. And we have different sub-classifications of thinking skills. We have divergent, convergent, critical, and creative thinking. Una tayo sa divergent. Ano ba yung divergent? Again, divergent thinking. Ano yung divergent thinking? Pag divergent thinking, ibig sabihin, yung student or ikaw mismo as teacher, you have the capability to provide many possible answers or many possible solutions. Again, divergent thinking, marunong kang mag-generate ng maraming ideas, maraming solutions. Divergent thinking. Pag divergent, remember lang, marami. Divergent, marami. Again, divergent, many ideas, many solutions. And si divergent thinking, mayroon pa siyang sub-classifications. Again, si divergent thinking, mayroon siyang sub-classification. First, we have fluent thinking. Again, fluent thinking. Ano yung fluent thinking? Ibig sabihin, si student marunong, mayroong ability na mag-provide ng many ideas in a short period of time. Again, fluent thinking, si student marunong magbigay ng lahat ng ideas or ng maraming ideas in a short period of time. That is fluent thinking. I know that you are familiar with uh, the game Family Feud ni Ding Dong Dantes, no? That is an example of a game, no, that enhances our fluent thinking. Another example, pag si teacher nagtanong sa kanyang mga student, give me names of countries that is part of Asia. Well, the students will be able to provide Singapore, Malaysia, Philippines, China, Thailand, Taiwan. That is fluent thinking. Marami siyang ideas na nabibigay in a short period of time. Flexible thinking, on another hand, para siyang law of multiple response. Marami siyang ways, marami siyang possible na approaches. Flexible thinking. Ibig sabihin, if hindi effective yung kanyang isang plano, he or she proceeds to plan B, then plan C. That is flexible thinking. The ability to adapt, change perspective, or shift approaches. That is flexible thinking. Ano yung elaborative thinking? When we say elaborative thinking, ibig sabihin, marunong siya mag-add ng information. Marunong siya mag-expand ng ideas. Again, elaborative thinking. For example, si student, gitanong siya ng kanyang teacher, ano yung definition ng climate change? So yung gitanong lang ni teacher, definition lang ng climate change. Yung sagot ni student, climate change is the long-term shift of weather patterns. Oh, that's the definition. Tapos si student, nagdagdag pa dyan, climate change is a global issue wherein it is required for all countries and all people in the world no should collectively address this problem. Mayroong siyang dinagdag na idea that is elaborative thinking. Let's have this scenario, no? To differentiate fluent, flexible, and elaborative thinking. A scenario: a class is asked to create a poster about environmental conservation. So yung klase daw, no, pinagawa ni teacher ng poster about environmental conservation. Fluent thinking. Unang ginawa ng mga estudyante, naglista sila ng pamamaraan on how to conserve the environment. So ano yung ano nila na idea, nabigay nila na idea? Planting trees, reducing plastics, saving water, recycling, using solar energy, and etc. Nakapagbigay sila ng many ideas about how to conserve the environment. That is fluent thinking. Now, flexible thinking. 'Di ba? Yung task ng teacher, pagawain sila ng poster. During the time no na ginawa na nila yung task nila, they adapt their plan. Ibig sabihin, no, yung una nilang plano dapat ilagay yung mga ideas about how to conserve the environment. Yung pag-plant ng trees, reducing plastics. However, na-realize nila na hindi kasya yung lahat ng ideas if ilagay doon sa poster. Kaya nag-decide sila na mag-focus lang sa recycling and water conservation. Nag-adapt sila, flexible thinking. Gi-adjust nila, no? From their original plan, nagkaroon sila ng bagong approach that is flexible thinking. Instead of putting all of the ideas na na-generate nila, no? Kung papaano i-conserve ang environment, nagpili lang sila. Recycling and water conservation na lang. That is flexible thinking. Now, paano nila gi-apply yung kanilang elaborative thinking? Instead of just simply no putting a simple drawing or illustration about recycling and water conservation, anong ginawa nila? They add drawings of recycling bin, saving tank, no? And nagdagdag sila ng slogan. Nagdagdag pa sila ng colorful charts, no? To make the poster more detailed and effective. Mayroon silang gidagdag na ideas, that is elaborative thinking. Pag fluent, the students will be able to generate a lot of ideas in a short period of time. Flexible, no? Yung student marunong mag-adapt sa situation, no? Kaya nilang i-change yung kanilang approaches with regards to the situation. Elaborative thinking, yung students marunong mag-add ng information. Elaborative thinking. Na-proceed tayo sa convergent thinking. Kanina, pag divergent thinking, ibig sabihin, marami. Pag convergent thinking, one. Again, pag convergent thinking, one. Finding one correct solution. Convergent, isa lang yung sagot. Marunong yung bata na magbigay ng kasagutan sa mga questions na isa lang yung sagot. Example, solving the math problem, if 5x plus 3 is equals 18, what is x? So x is 3. So only one correct answer. Another example, sa convergent thinking, if i-ask mo yung student mo, what is the city that is considered as Queen City of the South? Isa lang man ang Queen City of the South, Cebu. That is convergent thinking. What is the name of the ship where Magellan boarded during his expedition? Yung Trinidad, doon nakasakay si Magellan. That is convergent thinking. Isa lang yung possible na sagot. Proceed tayo sa critical thinking. When we say critical thinking, it is our way of evaluating information to decide its accuracy or value. Meaning, pag critical thinking, we use our rational mind. We critically evaluate something. For example, information. No? We identify whether the information is incorrect or correct. By that, we are using critical thinking. Example, reading a news article about a health claim and checking scientific studies, sources, and evidence before deciding whether to believe it. That is critical thinking. Hindi tayo basta-basta naniniwala. We investigate. We further study. We further check, no? If yung sources ba ng information legit, no? That is critical thinking. Now, lastly, we have creative thinking. Pag creative thinking, ibig sabihin, you think outside the box. Again, pag creative thinking, thinking outside the box. You generate new, original, or imaginative ideas. Example, you were able to design a new game that combines elements of soccer and tug, creating a unique rules and strategies. Pag creative thinking, ibig sabihin, you were able to produce something, no? An original one. Creative thinking, again, you were able to produce or create something which is original. Creative thinking. Thinking outside the box. Now, proceed tayo sa motivation kasi mahalaga itong motivation, no, na principle ng pagtuturo. Motivation is very important kasi if we were not able to catch our students' attention, no, if hindi motivated yung student na makinig, no, na mag-aral, no, it would be useless, no. Kailangan talaga ang motivation. And we have types of motivation. First, we have intrinsic motivation. When we say intrinsic, within, again, within, intrinsic or internal motivation originates from the student's inner self. Siya mismo, yung desire niya na makatapos, yung desire niya na makakuha ng good grades, no? That is intrinsic motivation. Yung motivation out of his own, no? Yung kanyang dream na maging guro in the future, yung kanyang dream na maging engineer in the future, yung kanyang dream na maging part ng top of the class, that is intrinsic motivation within the student himself or herself. Kabaliktaran niya is extrinsic motivation or external motivation. For example, mga incentives, mga rewards, extrinsic motivation yan siya. Pag si student nagkaroon ng highest score sa quiz, si teacher magbibigay ng free na merienda. That is extrinsic motivation. Pag si student siya yung uh, pinaka mataas na marka for science, no, si science teacher magbibigay ng reward. That is extrinsic motivation, ha? It originates from the learning environment, hindi sa student mismo. Intrinsic sa student mismo na motivation. Pag extrinsic sa environment, mayroon bang gipromise si teacher ng reward? That is extrinsic motivation. Now, we have motivation techniques. How we could be able to motivate our students, no, or to encourage them or to stimulate their interest during our class. And we have mnemonics, go deeply. Again, our mnemonics, no, on how we were able to motivate our students, go deeply. Letter G, glow. So dapat tayo mga teacher, we should not lose our glow. in our day-to-day teaching and as we interact with our students. Ibig sabihin dapat si teacher hindi nagaluya while naga-discuss, no? Si teacher dapat enthusiastic, dapat alive during discussion. Hindi lang glow physically, ha, na dapat you are pleasing, no? To be seen by your students, no? Maganda yung gupit mo for girls, maganda yung makeup mo, no? But the aura, no? The energy that you provide out there by the time na nasa classroom ka na, it's very important. Dapat si teacher enthusiastic, alive, alert, that is glow. Ano ganyan yung mnemonics? Go deeply. We're done with letter G. Proceed tayo sa O. Observe. Teachers should take extra effort to be very vigilant of whether the students perform positively or negatively. Dapat si teacher hindi lang tuloy-tuloy sa kanyang discussion. Dapat si teacher maging observant, no? If feel niya or if feel ni teacher na medyo, di ba, confused yung student or naboborengan na yung student sa klase, dapat mayroon siyang techniques na gagawin, no? Para ma-regain niya yung interest ng mga bata. Observe, hindi lang discuss ng discuss. Observe students' nuances. Baka yung iba, di ba, nanguy up na. Yung iba, nagpiyong na ang mata, nakatulog na. Teachers should become vigilant, no? Teachers should become observant during discussion para ma-maintain yung interest ng students, no? If feel ni teacher hindi na nagapaminaw yung bata, o magawa siya ng interactive activity para makinig yung bata, para maging active yung klase. Next, tapos na tayo sa G and O. Go. Go deeply. Letter D, demonstrate relevance. Ibig sabihin, you make the students feel, no, na yung dinidiscuss mo ay mahalaga sa kanila. Again, you show learners why the task or the topic matters to them. Kaya gani, di ba, kailangan i-localize, i-contextualize, no? During discussion, yung topics, i-contextualize, i-localize para makarelate yung students. Also inform them, bakit ito mahalaga sa kanila? Bakit mahalaga ito sa mga bata? That is demonstrating relevance, no? I-demonstrate mo yung relevance ng iyong tinuturo para maging motivated ang students, no, na makinig sa klase. We've done with letter D. Ano gani yung mnemonics? Go deeply. Proceed tayo sa letter E. E, ibig sabihin, engage. Engage students or students should be involved in academic learning which they could respond to meaningfully and successfully. Ibig sabihin, dapat interactive yung teaching method na gagamitin mo. Hindi lang lecture method, hindi yung traditional way na ikaw lang discuss the whole time. Make sure that your class should become interactive, no? So that students will be able to participate. Student would be able to solicit their ideas, no? Their opinions about the topic, engage the student. Because by the time that the student, no, is given an opportunity to be engaged in class, so that's also the time na maging motivated sila to do that over and over again. Again, engage the students, make your class interactive. Another E, go deeply. Letter A, embrace students. May ibang teachers ba ya, no? Na gina-encourage lang niya yung mga performing well na mga students. But do not do that, ha? Because we are now in an inclusive education. Ibig sabihin, we need to embrace all types of students, no? We should allow both the good and not so good learners, no, to join the class, to participate, to solicit information. If mali yung answer nila, do not scold them, no? Huwag pagalitan. You should also appreciate the students because the mere fact, no, na nagtaas sila ng kamay, they take the courage, no? They were brave enough to answer yung question nga gi-raise mo, to share their ideas. And it is something na dapat i-appreciate ni teacher. The fact na nagtaas ng kamay, nag-participate. Embrace, no, all your learners para maging motivated sila. Most especially yung mga timid, yung mga mahiyain, sila dapat yung ating gina-encourage more, no, na mag-participate sa klase. Go deeply, letter P na tayo. Praise. A sweet music to a student's ear is praise, no? We need to appreciate our students' performance, no? Our students' output. Kahit mali yung sagot niya, no? If si student mayroong maling sagot, appreciate, no? Give praise. Nice try, no? Kailangan i-appreciate natin yung students natin for them to be able to become more motivated, whether their answers are correct no, or incorrect. If output nila hindi gaanong maganda, no, still, no, appreciate simply because hindi natin alam yun yung pinaka the best nila. Compare our students, no, with themselves. I-compare mo sila paano sila previous quarter to this quarter. Not compare them with your other students. Yung first quarter, medyo mahiyain. Second quarter, si student, nag-participate na. May mga times na medyo mali yung sagot, pero at least nag-participate. That is improvement. That is development. Something, no, na kailangan nating i-appreciate. Provide praise, no, sa ating mga students. Go deeply, letter L, no? Find out what the student is trying to convey. Makinig tayo, teachers, sa ating mga student. If tayo teacher, no, nakikinig sa ating mga student, it would boost their confidence. Mahalaga pala yung opinion ko. Mahalaga pala yung idea ko kasi nakikinig si teacher. It will motivate more your students. Kaya we need to listen to our student. Baka mayroon silang idea, no? Na mas better pala na idea kaysa sa atin. For example, we are planning for our Christmas party. We are planning for an intersection competition, no? And mayroong suggestion yung ating mga estudyante. Let's listen to them, no? Pakinggan natin. Go deeply. Lastly, we have letter Y. Yield, meaning accept students' feedback and answers. May ibang mga teachers ba ano na feel nila sila always yung tama, no? Mali yan siya. To motivate your students, allow them to speak their mind but with respect, no? Kasi ikaw yung guro, person in authority ka. But still, no? As teachers, we need to accept, no? The feedback of our students and it would make them feel motivated kapag napapahalagahan yung kanilang sinasabi. Acceptance, no? Accept our students' feedback and answer. Those were motivation techniques sa go deeply. Glow, ano ganun yung G? Glow. O, observe. Deeply. Letter D, demonstrate relevance. Unang E, engage learners. Kalawang E, embrace students, no? Kahit yung mga student na poorly performing or yung mga slow learner, the not so good students, as long as, no, they go to the school, try to, no, participate even in their own little way, embrace those students. P, praise, no, appreciate, whether big or small wins, no? Whether big or small efforts of our students, appreciate. Letter N, let's listen to our students. Then, as we listen, we need to accept our students' feedback. Go deeply. Next, proceed tayo sa techniques in questioning. Importante ito. Again, importante ito. It's very important simply because dapat as teachers, hindi tayo monotonous sa pagtatanong. Kasi kailangan kasi natin, as we ask question, kailangan natin na ma-provoke, kailangan nating ma-encourage yung student na mag-isip talaga. Kaya ito yung mga effective na mga questioning techniques. Kailangan natin ma-make sure na as we ask questions, all of the students would think, no, of an answer. That these are mga suggestions, no, na pwede nating gamitin when we ask questions sa ating mga students. Una, discuss natin yung two types of questions. We have convergent and divergent. Same thought ito sa divergent thinking and convergent thinking. Pag convergent question, converge isa. Ibig sabihin, pag convergent question, isa lang yung answer. Again, pag convergent question, isa lang yung sagot. And lats ito, lower order thinking skills. Convergent question, isa lang yung sagot. For example, ano yung sagot? Ano yung tanong? What is the Queen City of the South? Yung sagot, Cebu City, isa lang. What is, ano ba? The capital city of the Philippines? Isa lang yung sagot, Manila. That is convergent question. Isa lang yung sagot. Who is the current mayor of Davao City? Isa lang yung sagot. Any question na isa lang yung answer, that is convergent question. Kabaliktaran niya, divergent question. Ibig sabihin, marami ang possible answer. Again, divergent question, marami ang possible answer. For example, what are the parts of the body? So the student could answer eyes, pwede nose, pwede lips, pwede ear, pwede hands, pwede fingers. Divergent questions yan siya. Maraming possible answer. Next, we have another question. Do you agree with same-sex marriage? No? Iba-ibang ating idea with this question. Divergent question yan siya. Yung iba agree, yung iba disagree, no? Yung iba agree pero iba yung reason. Agree yung isa, iba rin yung kanyang reason. That is divergent question. Maraming possible answer, divergent question. Ito yung mga questioning approach or technique ha. First, dapat when we ask question, we vary our questions. Iba-iba dapat yung ating questions. Hindi pwede puros lang recall. Hindi pwede nga puros lang din comprehension. Hindi din pwede na puros lang analysis. Di ba na-discuss na natin ang behavioral objectives, no? We have the old taxonomy, Kekaase. We have the revised taxonomy na Rua-Aek. So dapat paiba-iba yung tanong. Kaya gani, if we do make test questions, quarterly exams, di ba? Mayroong table of specification. Mayroong questions for remembering, mayroong questions for understanding, may questions for applying, may questions for analyzing, mayroong questions for evaluating, and may questions for creating. Kaya dapat i-vary ang questions. Next, ask non-directive question. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng non-directive question? Huwag kang magtawag ng pangalan ng bata before ka mag-ask ng question. When you ask question, speak the question. For example, do you agree that the photosynthesis requires carbon dioxide to be done? Hindi ka nagtawag ng pangalan. Giraise mo lang yung tanong. So it could be answered by anyone. So in that way, lahat ng estudyante mag-isip ng sagot. I-compare mo siya. For example, may estudyante ka na ang pangalan ay Manolo. Manolo, do you agree that the photosynthesis needs, that plants needs carbon dioxide to undergo the process photosynthesis? Si Manolo lang yung tinanong mo. So the tendency would be, si Manolo lang din yung mag-iisip ng sagot. Kaya ask non-directive questions. Ask the questions to the whole class, not to one specific student. Kuha? Now, ano pa yung mga questioning approach? Prompting. You prompt, you provide partial answer. Ibig sabihin, you give clues, you give hints to help students arrive at the correct answer. Get prompt. You give clues, you give hints to help students arrive at the correct answer. Importante din yan. So labi na, if ever ma-observe mo yung student na medyo nahihirapan, so you could provide clue. Again, you could provide clue or hints. Probing. Ibig sabihin, no, you ask follow-up question. You ask the question, why? Again, why? Probing, no? Meaning you ask questions na mga why questions. Uh, for example, students say na nag-agree siya ng same-sex marriage. So you ask the question why. Bakit? No? Probing question. For example, sumagot si Manolo, yes, sir. The plants needs carbon dioxide, no, to undergo the process photosynthesis. I-ask mo din siya, why? Why the plants need carbon dioxide to undergo the process photosynthesis? That is probing question. Another question approach require abstract thinking. Ibig sabihin, no, you ask questions that involves reasoning, generalization, or thinking or critical thinking beyond facts in connection with the probing questions. You also asked open-ended questions. Ibig sabihin, pag open-ended questions, mga divergent questions, no? Mas gina-encourage yung divergent questions compare sa convergent questions. And isa din sa gina-advise, you allow our students or your students no, to have sufficient time before mag-answer. Hindi yung pasagutin agad yung student. Allow the student to think first. Again, give students enough time to think before answering. Another, no? Involve as many as possible. Ibig sabihin, encourage participation from all students, not just few. Kasi may iba ba yung mga guro, di ba? Yung mga performing students lang yung ginatawag. Allow also, no, give also opportunities so mga not so good learners or students natin na makapag-participate. It can boost their confidence, no, the next time. Proceed tayo. Ito yung mga ano pa, kailangan matutunan ni teacher, no? Reacting behavior of teachers. Bakit mahalaga itong reacting behavior ni teacher? Kasi our response as teachers, no, in every situation matters sa ating mga student. It could encourage our students or it could discourage our student, no? It could nurture a sense of belonging within the classroom or not. Kaya importante, no, that we have ideas on how to react in different situations. First, na reacting behavior ni teacher, dapat we should provide acceptance feedback. Ibig sabihin, we should acknowledge students' responses without judging. Ibig sabihin, let me remind you, kahit mali yung answer ng bata, we should accept it. Sumagot yung bata, mali, no? Nice try. Thank you for sharing your idea. That is one reacting behavior na dapat matutunan natin ha as teachers. We should provide acceptance feedback. Another, providing corrective feedback. Ibig sabihin, if mayroong answer si student na mali, after telling, okay, nice try, good idea, thank you for sharing your idea, i-correct natin. Bakit? Kasi kung hindi natin i-correct, baka akalain ng ibang student, tama yung sagot ng kanilang classmate. So you correct it in a respectful manner. So you could say, you're close. But let's review this part again. So discuss mo, i-clarify mo. That is providing corrective feedback. Number 3, give appropriate and sincere praise. No? Offer honest encouragement for good performance. Nakasagot ng tama yung student. You also provide praise. Good job on explaining your answer clearly. Give appropriate praise. Repeating the answer. Ibig sabihin, i-emphasize mo. Sumagot yung bata. Tama yung sagot ng bata or ng estudyante. Ano mo, you restate, ibig sabihin, ulitin mo. For example, so you're saying that climate change affect weather patterns, no? That is repeating students' answer. Magot yung bata. Climate change affects weather patterns. So you're saying that climate change affects weather patterns, no? It would allow other students to be able to clearly understand kung ano yung sagot ng kaniyang classmate, repeating the answer. And lastly, for this slide, explaining the answer or expanding the answer. Ibig sabihin, you add more information, no? Adds more information or clarifies the student's response. Sinabi ng bata, climate change affects weather patterns. Very good, no? So you're saying that climate change affects weather patterns. Yes, and you're correct because this happens when greenhouse gases trap the heat. Oh, i-explain mo, nag-elaborate ka, no? That's one way, no, to respond towards sa ating mga students. Another reacting behavior ni teacher na dapat matutunan, we have rephrasing the question. Mayroon ba yang mga questions na hindi madaling maintindihan ng mga students? So, ibig sabihin, no, baka mayroon lang problema sa pag-construct mo ng tanong. So, you restate or i-rephrase mo yung question mo. Oh, let me ask another way. Same question but with simpler terms na gamitin. That's one way also, no? Para makasagot si student. Asking follow-up questions, yung probing questions. Kasali din yan siya sa reacting behavior of teachers, no? Asking follow-up questions. Can you explain why that happens? Kailangan din yan siya. Redirecting questions to other pupils. Ibig sabihin, you pass the question to another student for wider participation. Sumagot yung kaniyang classmate. Alright, tama yung sagot. Good idea. How about you? For example, may student ka na named Maria. How about you, Maria? What is your idea? So mayroong other pa na idea. So you redirect the questions to other pupils or other students. Number 9, importante din ito, no? We need also to encourage our students to ask questions. Soliciting student question, no? Encourage students to ask their questions. I-ask nila yung question nila sa kanilang classmates. Now, what questions do you have about this topic? Lastly, encouraging through non-verbal behavior or non-verbal cues, no? Yung ating mga gesture, okay, ikaw. For example, you have student, ang name is John. You, John, how about you? What is your idea? Ikaw, no? Ituro mo yung bata. Mga encouraging non-verbal cues. Part yan siya ng ating reacting behavior technique ha, as teachers. Now, proceed tayo sa assessment and evaluation skills. Ano itong assessment and evaluation skills, no? We will discuss now yung different type of assessment. However, ma-discuss pa ito deeply sa assessment of learning. Sige. Pag authentic assessment, ibig sabihin ang bata dapat makapag-provide ng product o makaperform ng isang skill. Ang i-remember lang, pag authentic assessment, product or performance. Again, pag authentic assessment, product or performance. Again, authentic assessment, product or performance. Ibig sabihin, dapat may ma-create sila ng product o di naman kaya'y mayroon silang ma-perform na tasks. Performance assessment, meaning students will be able to demonstrate a particular task. For example, experiment, that is a performance assessment. Role-playing, performance assessment yan siya. Playing a song, performance assessment. Playing a piano, performance assessment. Dancing, that is performance assessment. Pag mayroong performance, that is performance assessment. Product assessment on the other hand, ibig sabihin, mayroong i-create ang bata. Mag-create ba siya ng painting? Mag-create ba siya ng short stories, ng poem, ng posters, o ng portfolio? Mayroong product, no? Mayroong creation ang bata, product assessment. Now, discuss natin ang portfolio. Portfolio is a compilation of students' work. Again, pag portfolio, I know that you are familiar with this one, compilation of student work, no? Dito natin makita yung mga output ng ating mga estudyante. And it is prepared, no, to allow students to be able to reflect on their own learning. Nung first task, hindi masyado good yung performance ko. Sa second task, medyo okay. Sa third task, okay. Sa fourth, medyo hindi na din okay. So you, student will be able to reflect on their own learning, no? ma-monitor nila yung kanilang progress. Yun yung mga authentic assessment. Yun yung dapat nating gamitin. However, present pa rin today ang mga traditional assessment. Pag traditional assessment, ang i-remember lang, pencil and paper test. Again, pag traditional assessment, pencil and paper test. Again, traditional assessment, pencil and paper test. Na-proceed tayo sa individualized teaching methods. Again, ito yung mga individualized teaching methods sa first, we have project method. Ang project method kasi pwede individual, pwede by pair, pwede din by group. So kaya si project method, part din siya ng individualized teaching method kasi mayroong projects na individual. Kaya gani, gina-encourage, no, para mag-grow yung mga estudyante natin or mag-learn, mayroong competition, mayroong collaboration, mayroon ding independent na mga tasks. Again, mayroong competition, mayroong collaboration, mayroon ding independent na tasks para mag-grow ang ating bata or mga estudyante. Individualized teaching method, first, project method. So learners would be able to work on a task or project based on their own interests and pace. Project method. Kasi may iba kasing mga bata, 'di ba, na medyo pagdating sa paggawa ng project, nag-aano sila, nagagawa sila agad-agad. Yung iba naman, no, nagagawa sila pag madapit na ang deadline. So, if mayroong project na individual, no, it would allow students to do it in accordance to their pace. Then journal, no? Students will be able to express their thoughts, reflections, or learning experiences in writing. Individual journal. Narratives, it is also an individualized teaching method. Learners, no, they could use stories or personal experiences to explain understanding. Individualized instruction, meaning si teacher, no, ga-adjust sa kanyang pagtuturo in connection with or in response with learner's needs, ability, and learning speed. Individualized instruction. We also have metacognitive approach. Ano itong metacognitive approach, no? Alam na natin yan, thinking about thinking. Ibig sabihin, we give opportunity to our students or to our learners, no, to reflect on how they think and learn to improve their own understanding. Discovery approach, no, students would be able to have an opportunity to explore and find answers on their own. We have the constructivist approach. Learners will be able to build their new knowledge or new knowledge out of their previous knowledge. Constructivist approach. Experiential learning, ito yung hands-on learning. So learning happens through direct experience and reflection. Experiential learning, learning by doing. Lastly, independent study. Students learn independently with minimal teacher guidance. Isa din yan siya sa individualized teaching method. So for now, let's have a break for 10 minutes, no? Then we'll continue.